Christmas Day flooding? We've got some pretty serious high tides coming up in November and December. Perigean spring tides, or king tides. One of the highest tides of the year this year in Drayton Harbor will happen on Christmas Day, and it'll be pretty significant. In this video, we'll look at number 1, what is a perigean spring tide or king tide? Number 2, exactly when will these tides occur? Number 3, why are these November, December, and January tides higher than the rest of the year? And number 4, how much inundation can we expect? All right, let's take a look. So what is a perigean spring tide? A spring tide occurs twice a month. Whenever the moon, sun, and earth are in syzygy, that's when they're all three in a line, like during a full moon or a new moon. Whenever this alignment happens, the tides are more extreme and we call them spring tides. They happen twice a month, regardless of the season. A perigean spring tide is a spring tide that happens to occur when the moon is near perigee. Perigee is when the moon is closest to the earth in its elliptical path around the earth. So exactly when will these spring tides occur? Looking at the Drayton Harbor tide tables, that's in Blaine, Washington, I see that on November 26th and 27th, that's Saturday and Sunday, we're going to see a couple of significant perigean spring tides. And then again on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, an even higher perigean spring tide will hammer Birch Bay. Hopefully the recent improvements along Birch Bay Drive will reduce the impact. You may recall that last year a lot of homes that are not in the area of the berm improvements, were significantly affected by last year's perigean spring tides. So why will these tides be unusually high? Well, there are at least 4 things that will conspire to make these tides higher. That's right, a conspiracy. In November, we have perigee and a new moon just a few days apart conspiring to make the tides higher. Then in December, we have perigee, a new moon, and perihelion. That's when the Earth is the closest to the sun in its yearly path around the sun. All occurring within a few days of one another, all conspiring to make the tides more extreme. Add to that our normally wet winter weather predicted by the Farmer's Almanac, and you've got the makings for some potential inundation resulting from these winter king tides. So again, the high tides, November 26th and 27th, and again on December 25th, Christmas Day, and the day after Christmas, actually, there'll be some pretty significant high tides. Not to mention January 22nd and 23rd in the Puget Sound region. So how much inundation can we expect? The short answer is it depends on the weather. These tide predictions are mostly based on the positions of the sun and the moon and on historical data. A good storm surge can significantly affect the tides in either direction. Around here, a storm surge typically comes from the west, so we can get tides several feet above the predicted levels. For instance, here's Birch Bay last year on January 7th. The predicted tide that day was 10.02 feet, not even the highest tide of the year, but as you can see, the storm surge piled a whole bunch more water on top of that high tide. The upcoming Christmas Day king tide will be about a half-foot higher than this January 7, 2021 event, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to see this again. It all comes down to the weather. If it's cold and calm, this will be a non-event. If it's warm, windy, and rainy, we could be looking at some coastal flooding around Christmas Day 2022. Stay dry and don't forget to like and subscribe. Cheers!